Welcome to the President's Message. I hope you've enjoyed the summer. We're all starting to think about the annual meeting this fall. And I know you're thinking, well, should I go to the annual meeting or not? Well, I'm going to give you 3 good reasons to go. One of the really cool things you get to do as president of the Academy is to choose the keynote speakers. I've given it a lot of thought, and I have chosen for you 3 fantastic speakers. Dr. Mark Shellhammer will be the Jack Anderson lecturer on Thursday. He is a Johns Hopkins physiologist in the otolaryngology department who has an engineering degree and a biomedical engineering degree at MIT. He worked with NASA on human research, evaluating human physiology in space. He currently works with the space station astronauts and on commercial space flights, evaluating the changes of the body in space. What's his specialty is long-term space flight and how our physiology changes with that. Now we're talking about the Artemis project with putting people on Mars and the moon. And so how does our physiology change? It's not just muscle and bone that we all know about, but what are the effects of radiation? What are the effects on our vision? How will you handle medical issues on a long-term voyage to another world? And how are they going to handle interpersonal relationships with these small groups of people that are together for long periods of time? So it's a lecture you are not going to want to miss. Dr. Mark Shellhammer on Thursday. Next, the John Conley Lectureship on Friday is going to be presented by Dr. Jean Carruthers. Now, if you haven't heard of Dr. Carruthers, you're going to have to turn in your facial plastic surgeon card because she is an icon in our world. If you don't know, Dr. Carruthers and her husband, Alistair Carruthers, pioneered the cosmetic use of botulinum toxin. Her lecture is going to be called, "You Want to Inject What?" So it will be a wonderful lecture about her journey starting to use Botox cosmetically, and I think it will be a lecture you'll never forget. And then finally, the Jean Tardy keynote address will be on Saturday at 8 a.m. And this will be presented by Dr. Gillian Dunlop. Now, Dr. Dunlop is an otolaryngologist in Sydney, Australia. I heard this lecture on the international symposium that we had several years ago, and I wrote it down because I wanted to invite her to be a keynote speaker. She talks about how, as a young girl, her family told her she could not be an artist. She had to go to medical school. So she did. She started out in emergency medicine and then transferred to otolaryngology. She did a rhinology and facial plastic surgery fellowship in London. And then she developed 2 careers, one as an otolaryngologist, rhinologist, and the other as a portrait artist. She is an award-winning portrait artist who was chosen as the People's Choice Award at the National Australian Portrait Exhibit in 2006. She has painted state governors, politicians, actors, college principals, and doctors. Her beautiful paintings are shown here. It's enviable, her talent, both as a surgeon and as an artist. So please come to the meeting and please attend these keynote talks. There's nothing more embarrassing than inviting these huge names to come speak to us and then having an empty room. So consider coming to the Academy meeting and please come to the keynote addresses. Thank you, and until next time.